So welcome to Friday the 13th, September 13th, 2024. Thanks for joining me. Let's get right into it. Mortgage applications up 2% for purchases. Refinances up 1%. One thing to note that refinance transactions, the applications are up 106% year over year. That really does speak to the fact that consumers are very stretched on their finances. They're using the home equity from their home, or at least inquiring into a refinance to consolidate those debts and improve their monthly financial position. That's a lot. That's a very large increase, and something I wanted to point out. Now, with jobless claims, those filing for the first time, initial up 2,000 week over week and continuing up 5,000. That was a short week. It was Labor Day weekend. So we'll see what happens next week with numbers as we have a full week again. Now, this week we did get CPI. This is one of those measures of inflation that the Fed does watch. This was for August of 2024. It was a pretty modest report. Inflation did go up a little bit. It wasn't dramatic, but nonetheless, we are seeing that we've kind of hit a plateau with these CPI numbers. And this is something I spoke to months ago, that shelter component really is going to level us out, and we're not going to see a lot of improvement over the end of the year. So you can see that now with shelter making up 45.7% of the core number. It was up 0.5% month over month. Now, within that number is the owner's equivalent rent. That also up. And remember, owner's equivalent rent is what consumers would rent their home for. That is a highly subjective number, so I really do not understand why this is in those numbers. And lodging away up 1.75%. So people taking lots of vacations, which is not surprising, as you know, right before they went back to school. Makes sense that families got away. Motor vehicle insurance continues to go up month over month. That is not a surprise. And do remember that homeowners insurance is not a part of the CPI number, and a lot of people talking about the fact that homeowners insurance is getting really pricey. Also, we got this week some information on U.S. home equity. So those people that have a mortgage, on average, showing that they have $315,000 per homeowner in equity in their home. That's a massive number. That's, knowing that you have $315,000 in cash equivalent if you were to sell your home, take out some expenses. That's pretty impressive. If you wanted to tap into that, you could take up to $200,000 on average, just because remember, when you do a refinance, you can't do 100% of your home's equity. You're capped pretty much at 90%. And then negative equity, those homes that are underwater, only making up 1.1% of all homes. So again, foreclosures, there being any type of decline in appreciation, this does not support that. This is a very small number relative to what's out there. And those people, so if we look at all homes within the economy, those people with those with mortgages and those that own it free and clear, average homeowner has $440,000 in home equity. You look at the next, that's next level, the right side of the slide here, you can see that there are 340 million people in the population, 136 million households, 45 million rent, and 91 million owned. So 67% versus 33% homeowners versus renters. And if you look at those equity numbers, this is a strong argument for why you own versus rent. You can't make $300,000 renting. You're making $300,000 for somebody else, not you. All right. So now let's take a look at demographics. Those people that look into homeownership, who make up our homeowners, boomers versus Gen X, millennials versus Gen Z. You can see the Gen Zs have the smallest population of home ownership, but they're young. They're just getting into the market. And if they follow trend with the millennials, there was a large increase by the time they reached 33% were homeowners. So if Gen Zs follow suit, we will see a large influx of Gen Zs entering the market as they reach age 30, and more so as they reach age 40. I think a lot of people delaying that purchase just because people are staying single longer. Families starting later in life now, so maybe not such a rush to own a home, but there will be an influx of buyers, and there's just not enough inventory being built or going on the market to meet the demand. So this also supports the fact that home values will continue to remain steady. There's nothing to suggest that home values will go down. They will just continue to go up as more people come into the market to buy, and there's not enough inventory to meet that demand. Now let's go into the MBS market charts. This is the 10-year Treasury. We are seeing what we want to see today. We're seeing red going down. That's what we want on the 10-year Treasury. This follows the long-term mortgage rates closely, more closely than that 5.5-year Treasury. So this is seeing some good movement this week. Over the past couple of weeks, actually, it's been very promising. Now, the Feds do make their announcements next week as to what they're going to do on short-term interest rates. We already know they're going to do a cut. We just don't know whether it's going to be a quarter or a 50% rate cut. My bet is on 25 basis points because the CPI number didn't wow them. Unfortunate, but that's where we're at. And it is important to note that the European Central Bank has already done 2 cuts. They did another one this week for 25 basis points. So they're at 50 basis points in reduction, recognizing that inflation's coming down and we need to help the consumer. So hopefully the Feds will really look into the data and see that a 50-point basis hike or reduction would be beneficial to consumers. So that's where we're at this week. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you for watching my video. I do appreciate you when you like them. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.